The following is scheduled for one fall, on the way to the ring, accompanied by Goddess Absolution.
Well, Emily Stratfield and Katie Klein set to start off this year's Dusty Rhodes Classic as the VixXxens have their turn. Last year was absolutely dominated by the current reigning tag team champions, or, well, current reigning at the time, Area 51. And of course we have the VixXxens tag team champions as well, but will they be as dominant? So a lot of good competition here.
And their opponents, accompanied by Lily, the bad girl.
It looks like things will be starting off rather interestingly. Long-standing rivalry between the Bad Girls and, well, not completely the Harem, but several members of the Harem, namely Emily Stratfield. Emily being Summer's former trainer and, oh, we'll just call it what it is, abuser. Has certainly gone under the skin of Catherine Neville. And Katie Klein, who has basically taken on an appearance of Summer, just so Anya can say that she has won. So starting things off here, Emily and Catherine. But things will be pretty in any way. Oh, quick tag here from Emily to Katie. Catherine throwing herself at Katie, but unfortunately Katie sidestepping out of the way, hitting the ropes and missing, allowing Catherine an opportunity to cover her. Stomps down in the arm and brings up Katie. A lot of tag team action here tonight. The champions are indeed defeated, and we may see some new contenders, as the Bad Girls had their opportunity just last week at Christmas Chaos. Unfortunately, it was not to be. Catherine heads to the top and dives with a splash atop of Katie Klein. I wonder if either the Bad Girls or the Harem advance. Will they change their teams? Harem does still have Itsuko Mitsusaka in the wings. Speaking of Mitsusaka, there's mini Mitsusaka bunny hop. And of course the Bad Girls have Lilac. Drop kick to the back just as Katie gets to her feet. Counter out there from Katie. And clobbers her right down to the canvas. The very smooth looking canvas. Tag now, and this should be interesting. Both, despite their history, both Emily and Summer served as members of the council at the same time at one point. Sets her up in a straight fist to the face. Hard shin to the back. And now Emily heading up top. Dives off, misses on the elbow drop. Tag out now to Catherine. And Emily picking up where she left off there. Whew. That's a little better. Into the ropes goes Catherine. Back into a shot right in the midsection. Catherine turned around, straight into a short arm clothesline. Left her in the middle of the ring, and another tag here to Katie. Focusing in on the midsection of Catherine. I think their target would have been the left knee. Kick to the back of the head. Here's the cover. And Emily making the save as Summer tries to get in with her. And Emily actually racing away from her. Or being tossed back into the ring. Nice power slam from Catherine. Emily caught by Catherine and sent straight to the outside. Right at Lilac's feet. Well, I can't imagine that Lilac will be doing too much to her. Face first into the canvas was Katie Klein. And up comes Anya. The goddess getting in Catherine's face as Katie catches her from behind. Drives her face first into the knee. Tag out, and Catherine to her feet. Armed and ready for Emily, but Emily just a little faster. Straight shot to Summer. As Catherine comes right in just to try and stop that from happening. Cover middle of the ring, barely a 1 count. Summer not even concerned enough to get inside. Emily has Catherine up. Sit out powerbomb. As Summer calls for the tag. Comes gliding off with a cross body. Sharp kick to the spine, and again. Facebuster as Summer keeps up the assault on her former mentor, but sidesteps aside. Oh no, Summer continuing the fight. Katie calls for a tag, and tag up between the bad girls. Katie gets hers as Emily rolls to the feet of her goddess. Katie taken down with the side effects, and an immediate tag back to Summer. Summer to the face, and again to the face. Drop kick. Here's the cover. No Emily to make the save, though I think Katie should be safe, and indeed she is. Taking out just at the 2 as Katie gets herself to the ropes. And clothesline, no! Basically lures her in. A nice turnaround shot there from Katie. So both partners down off the apron. Summer off the ropes and drop kick to the face. Emily up to her feet. And Katie making the save, but Emily still getting in the hit. Blind sight on Emily, but not the legal competitor. And Summer the leg drop across Katie's arm. And her feet, knees just lifted up to her face. Series of blows from Katie Klein, and now stomping down to the back. Her arm basically checking over at Catherine to make sure she was watching this. Double knees across the back and to her feet. And again, just wearing Summer out. Cover now on Summer. Just a 1 count. Bad Girls want that second opportunity for the tag team titles. Painted elbows as Summer has no desire to go into the Harem's corner. And a stiff forearm shot there from Summer as Katie dodges out of the way. With a double underhook suplex and another one. And Katie rolling through, getting in a third with a DDT this time. Rolled over, here's the cover, and Catherine making the save, but Summer getting her grabbing hold of the ropes. And Anya sending in a steel chair. I don't think it'll be lasting too much longer in there. Katie tries for a booty club moonsault, but Summer, who missed it on the Hurricane Rana, got in with the drop kick. As Katie, desperate tag to Emily. To the ropes goes Summer. Drop kick side of the head. Quick tag out to Catherine. Catches Emily during her Paradise shot. Heavy hidden blow to the face. And Catherine kicking out just as Summer gets in there. Catherine fighting back. Has Emily set up. Snap suplex. Quick to her feet. And tries for the final nail, but she is scouted. Still no Katie. And here comes Paradise. And connects. Right into a cover. But Summer still makes the save. Catherine turning things away around. Kicks Emily in the gut. Running knee. Will that be it? And no. Emily with a rope break. Grabbing hold of the bottom rope. And final nail finally connects on Emily. But Catherine not want to just finish it off with one. Not satisfied with it. There we go. Eventually I got it. Summer now taken out of the picture. As Catherine brought over into the Harem's corner. Tag out to Katie. And double back body drop on Catherine and middle of the ring. Katie's going to go flying. Misses on the fist shot. Catherine realizes she's going to need a bit of a breather. Tags in Summer. And Summer with an immediate blind sight. Here's the cover. Almost Emily making the save at the last moment. Summer fighting back, up and over, DDT! Anya up on the apron now, but Summer paying absolutely no attention to her. Twisted splash now on Katie. Here's the cover. I assume that Anya is not too impressed with Summer not paying attention to her. Summer getting in some quick shots in on Emily. Up and over, powerbomb to the outside as Katie heads over to Catherine. Catherine's still too worn out from Paradise to put up much of a defense. She flops down. Summer inside the ring. Katie turns to face her. And blindside on Katie once more. This could be it. And no! Emily making the save once more. Perfect opportunity for the bad girls. Standing leg drop from Summer. Clotheslines Katie right into the corner. Tag out to Catherine. Called out by the referee as Catherine gets inside. This is on the elbow drop as Katie gets to her feet. And there was a running shot to Catherine's face. Tag out now to Emily, who comes up with her partner left off. Cover now from the Premier Vixen, but Catherine getting a hold of the rope, possibly thanks to Summer. Knocking her towards them, but Catherine gets to her feet and straight shot to the face with the Paradise. That could be it. And yes, it is. The Harem advance to the semifinals. This has not been a good December for the bad girls. War Games may have been their last great venture, but oh, what a venture it was. But losing the tag team titles and now losing in the first rounds of the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Here are your winners, the Acolytes.
I gotta wonder though, is this the end between the Harem and bad girls? I mean, no one slights Anya like Summer did.
The following is scheduled for one fall. On the way to the ring, Day One Glow.
And the Glow Girls making their way to the ring. I've not seen these two together in quite some time. Allie Everett wearing her Snow Bunny's outfit from last year. Hopefully it will bring her some good luck. This year she did not do too well in the tournament, but the Glow Girls are indeed tournament tested together, being the first ever VixXxens Tag Team Champions after winning a tournament. And Ida, of course, winning that year's Queen of the Ring tournament, so these two are definitely the odds-on favorites. They've traveled together, fought together, won titles together. We'll see if they can do the same thing here tonight. And the Booty Club coming down to the ring, accompanied by someone in black holding up the rear. Booty Club coming out in near full numbers. All we're missing is Linda Suzuki, the current reigning Firehearts champion, who next week will be defending that title against Kitty at Day 2. Let's see which members of the Booty Club are competing here. And it looks like it'll be Nikki and Ayame. Bell sounds. And Ida Atsuko. Well, for a bit there, starting things off with a tie-up, but Nikki managing to get out of there. Heated shots sending Ida right back into the corner. And face first into the big booty of Nikki. Not the best start there for Ida. And she winds up fighting back. And kicks in the back of Nikki. Into the ropes, comes right. Sweeps out the legs. Ida comes right back in. Former women's champion, a reign lasting 364 days. Unfortunately memorable because she lost it on the day it would have been a year. As Nikki with the head scissors goes right back for Ida. Drop kicks her down, but that just leaves her prone for Riley. Turns her this way and that, and elbow to the inside knee. As Nikki in trouble here. Dodges out of the way, but still caught. Submission hold applied. Legs wrapped up right around Nikki's head. But Nikki managing to fight her way out and drops herself atop of Riley. Both competitors falling flat. And Riley with a bit of a slap to Nikki's face. Just letting her know how she feels about her. Ida kicking out Nikki's head. Here's the first cover of the match. That's Ayame with a quick save. Stomp to the leg as Nikki back to her feet. And Nikki trying for a tag, but Ida quick to stop her. There's Ida being brought into the Booty Club's corner. Manages to fight her way out, but Ayame with a shot to the back of her head, and Nikki drop kicking her face. Ida trying to fight back against Ayame. Nikki comes over the top, collides down against her. Drives the knee down onto Ida's face and tries again. Ida sent back inside as Nikki stalks her way around the ring and tag to Riley. Thus far, Nikki has not gotten herself tagged out yet, but may not need it. Stiff shot to the side of the head. And German suplex on Riley. Thus far, Nikki has been holding her own against the former tag team champions. Has her up and flips her up and over. Riley brought to her feet. Nikki bringing her now into the booty club corner. Oh, tries for a cheap shot, but Riley catching hold, but kicked away by Nikki. Nikki finally managing to tag out to Ayame. Riley into the corner. And kick to the knee, or the leg, sorry. Nice sunset power bomb from Riley with the side headlock combination. Well, not really a combination, but quick fire in succession there. Yama gets in with the second shot. Has Riley from behind. German suplex. And rolls her over into a cover. Riley swift to get out of it, though. That's a maneuver there from Riley, but unfortunately not enough to daze Ayame completely. She brings her down to the canvas and stomps out the shoulder. Booty Club incredibly dominant here thus far. Another invincible head scissors taking Riley down, who manages to get in a tag on Ida. Wind-up shot there as Ida now in trouble. Propped against the far corner. And Yami just rushes forward, full of momentum, clotheslining her down. Shot to the midsection. And then Yami, or Ida sent to the corner, caught. Neckbreaker. The winner of this team will go on to face off against the Harem in our first semifinal. Ayame sent to the corner, pulled out and sent across the ring from Ida. Drop kicked right back into the corner. Cover. And Nikki with the save. As Ida up on top. Comes down, misses on the front drop kick, surprisingly. Maybe Ida's just a bit too dazed. Gets in the shot. And Ida with the hip attack. There's the cover. Nikki not even allowing it to be a 1 count. I'm sorry, Ayame. Tag back to Riley as Nikki gets to her feet. Glow Girl steadily building up a return here. As Nikki snapped down. And shrouded individual still ringside watching this one. And Riley setting up for something. A little cartwheel into a backflip kick. And Ayame once more breaking up the count. Riley fighting back, sends Nikki into the corner. He puts the stomp onto her face. Nikki brought up and being brought towards the Glow Girl's corner. In she goes, but fights her way out of it. Ida with a shot from behind. And as Nikki pulled middle of the ring. And Mount Everett on Nikki Suzuki. Here's the cover. But once more, Ayame makes the save, and Ida finally catches hold of her, sends her to the outside, and mages go after her some more. Indeed, you hear the sounds. Fighting on the outside, though. Very dangerous for Ida. There are two other members of the Booty Club out there. As Riley crawls the top and gets in a few headbutts. He manages to get to her feet. Now choked up against the ropes. As Riley going around catches hold. No, Ayame catches hold of her instead. And Riley and Nikki fighting on the outside. As Riley showcases a bit of, well, taunting there. Sure, the Harem would love to see a double count out here. As Riley going high. Nice little stunner there from Riley. Referee at 9. Will Riley accept a count out? And indeed, the Glow Girls advance to the semifinals, winning via countout against the Booty Club. Call it cowardly if you want, especially as the Booty Club was absolutely dominant in the first part of this matchup. But the Glow Girls advance regardless to the semifinals, taking another step towards victory in these Dusty Rhodes Classic.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. On the way to the ring, accompanied by Mr. Daniel, the family.
Evan Maloney and Stacey Jones, former tag team champions, the Squeakums and Abba connection, ready to go 2-on-2, continuing on there in this Dusty Classic's third matchup. Being Women Power. And given what happened just a week ago in the main event for the Women's Championship, I'm certain they'll be fighting hard for a victory. Squeakums and Abba would certainly enjoy the opportunity of reclaiming the tag team titles.
And their opponents, the Good Girls.
Honestly, I'm a bit surprised to not see Roxy Stevenson here. I think that at the very least she would be at ringside following up after them, but she's leaving things to Amaral and Amazonia. Certainly really a very powerful unit. Amaral, a former women's champion, and Amazonia, Well, I mean, Queen Amazonia. Well, we'll see what Evan and Stacy can do against them. If they'll be able to stand up against the awesome might of these two competitors. So starting things off with Evan and Amaral. Bell sounds, in they come together. Tie up in the middle, and it's Amaral who takes the quick control. Drop kick to Evan's face and a kick against the shoulder. Quick tag now to Amazonia, who, if allowed, will certainly do a fair bit of damage. Evan again working on the standing base of Amazonia, trying to weaken out her legs. Amazonia, who at one point was the enforcer of the council, now a pamphlet hander outer for Women Power. As Stacy launched from the top rope, but tripped out by Amazonia. And Stacy managing to counter out, clips Amazonia's knee from behind. Both right into a drop toe hold, into a cover now. But Amaral with the immediate save. So Evan sent over the top rope. And Amaral sent across the other side. Thus far, Squeakums and Abba are doing rather well. This is the referee keeping Stacy from getting too close to Amazonia as she comes back into the ring. But Stacy able to keep up the assault. Brings her up. But Amazonia with a headbutt to the face. And it looks like Evan is going back for Amaral. Attempted power bomb or what have you, but countered out by Stacy. It's a pair of bunny hops across Amazonia's back. Tagged to Evan now. And surprisingly, Amazonia is in trouble. Not something you see too often. And this Amazonia was being brought towards the Squeakums and Abba connection corner. Just a hard shot to the back of the head as Evan brought up and dropped right back down again. And Amazonia just lifting Evan up as though she were nothing. And honestly, when you're Amazonia, just about any competitor is nothing. So tag out now to Amaral. And standing drop kick from Amaral. And this is Evan with a tag on Stacy. Couple of hard hits when Stacy rolls away, tries to run in with a knee. Amaral has it blocked, sends Stacy over the top rope, but Stacy holds on. Bites Amaral back, but pulled right off the apron by Amazonia. Stacy fighting back against Amazonia as Evan launched off the top rope. Amaral up on top. Dives down with a double axe handle across Stacy's head. Backbreaker and face planted to the canvas. As Stacy off the top catches Amaral with a neck breaker. Here's the cover. By the ears as Amaral dropped down, tag to Amazonia. As Amaral works her way to her feet. Amazonia knocked right back into her corner. Zero power bomb by Stacy. Now tag out to Evan. There's Amazonia bringing Evan towards the ropes. Props her up. Dropped right down with a spine buster. Here's the cover. Stacy with the save. Amazonia doing a bit of preening, but Evan putting a stop to that. Submission hold applied just to weaken up the base. No submission granted though. As Amazonia sends Evan to the ropes and power slam. Straight into a cover. Stacy sends Emerald to the outside. Amazonia goes right after her. And Amazonia with Evan up on the shoulders. The height of that one. There's Evan in trouble here. Manages to her feet, tries for a neck or running clothesline or something. Anything. Steers and stomps across the chest as Amazonia steps back, tags out to Amaral now. As Women Power are slowly working their way back up again. Backbreaker from Evan. Series of stomps across Evan's face as she gets up onto the apron. Goes back inside, ducks into the clothesline, and goes right back again for the leg. And again, Amazonia fighting back, turns it around. Hard hit there by Evan, who again takes Amazonia down. Cover, though I don't think she'll get too much. Not that we would know, as Amaral once again making the save. Shoulder blocking, kick into the midsection, and Evan brought up onto the shoulders. Torture rack applied. And Evan tapping out. Surprisingly, Stacy didn't do anything to save her partner, leaving Evan to her fate. And when that realization came, that was it. As Women Power advance now to the semi-finals. And there you see it locked right into the torture rack. Amaral getting herself involved, but do not see any sign of Stacy as Evan taps out.
Here are your winners, the Good Girls.
So it is the Women Power who will take the first spot of the second semi-final. Who will be joining them? We have one more quarter-final matchup to determine that, ladies and gentlemen, and that will come right after this.
a switchblade with the cuts like a bitch, and I think you too should meet. I wanna break free from my humanity. I wanna release.
And it is now time for our final quarterfinals match. Daughters of Avernus, Metzli and Lillian, alongside their summoned demon, Set.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, all the way to the ring, accompanied by
He may not want to say it, but it is Metzli on the left, Lillian on the right, the Daughters of Avernus. And given that the winner of this team will take on the combination of Amazonia and Amaral, well, it does not go too well to kind of give the winners any sort of victory. But the Daughters of Avernus are fighting against the current reigning tag team champions. So to take them out here would certainly be a tremendous honor. It would be a great boon, but essentially soon deflated, as it were. And both competitors are here ready. And there they are, the tag team champions.
WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Vicious and Delicious.
The first ever Dusty Rhodes Classic had the tag team champions make it all the way to the finals, only to lose it in a rapid 5-minute bout against the Matt Hardy gang. Though Bonk and Doink, the tag team champions at the time, would go on to defeat the Matt Hardy gang, giving them their first ever in-ring loss after a 20-minute classic. Last year, Area 51 won the entire tournament themselves, thus providing further proof of their dominance as the tag team champions. BDSM may do the same here tonight. They have 3 matches to go through to get to that point, and they are fresh off a proper defense against the Bad Girls from last week. So starting off with Catalina and Metzli. Knee to the gut, kick to the back of the head, and a quick tag out to Spice. And then you see this mark on Spice's booty, making them a satellite faction within the Booty Club. Not full-on members, but the Booty Club certainly claiming ownership of the tag team titles as well. Leslie fighting out, knocking Spice back, sends her into the corner. And to the back of the knee. And again. One more time for good measure. Metzli tagging out to Lillian. And all 4 members in this matchup have now seen ring time. First cover of the match even. So an immediate kick out from Spice. Standing shooting star from Lillian. On top of Spice now brings her back up to her feet. Into the DOA corner. Shot to the midsection as Metzli has Spice up, but Spice manages to wriggle herself free. Just Metzli with a high knee right beneath the jaw. face first to the canvas. As Spice tags out to Catalina. Repeated hits to the side, and as Catalina now mounts Metzley. Metzley on the outside to recover as Catalina taking out the Spice. And back into the ring. As Spice just stomps Metzley back down just to showcase her dominance. Spice with Metzley up on the shoulders and drops her down face first to the knee. Tag out to Catalina. Sends her down to the ropes, gets her in with a midsection shot. As she brings Metzley back up, knocks her, just to knock her right back down again. Metzley rolls to the outside. And Catalina taking out both daughters of Avernus. And now heading up to the top of their own corner. This isn't just a sign of dominance, then I don't know what is. But misses on the fist. So well, that certainly would have helped. Series of stomps against Catalina. As Metzley putting on the pressure on the arm. Tag out to Lillian as Catalina watches and whipped into the corner, or rope, sorry. Double miss from Lillian as both kick attempts are blocked. Finally getting in a shot. Now tag back out to Metzley. And a tag across the ring to Spice. And, Metzley attempts to get out of the way. It does not bode well for her as Spice turns her back. And of course, Lillian going to take immediate advantage of that. Drops the knees to the face. And Spice utilizing herself as a harpoon. And again. Now into a cover. As Lillian gets up at 1. Goes into a front headlock. And this is what secured the tag team titles for them last week. As Metzley makes the save. Catches Catalina from behind, sends it to the outside. And continue the fight out there. As Lillian to her feet. Fights back from the double axe and a drop kick. Side of the head. And the daughters of Avernus now on top of things here. And I think their own demon getting in a shot of her own. Referee a bit distracted by what's going on inside the ring. As Lillian sunset flip powerbomb. You see Metzley just really going at it on Catalina on the outside. Spice's head colliding into the canvas. Now here's the cover. No rubber kitten or Catalina to make the save. Standing shooting star into another cover. Just a 2 count. As Spice gets that shoulder up. And Metzley goes right back for Catalina on the outside. Spice with another harpoon shot. Pulls Lillian from the corner. Pulled in and suplex. No, pile driver. And again, pulled right in. Head scissors, headlock. Oh, Lillian quick to scramble out of it. And Spice telling Lillian where she can kiss it. We saw Ida become the first member of the Booty Club's Kiss My Booty Club. Not a high honor, I'm sure. Another pinfall attempt on Spice comes to an end. As Mesley mounts the top of Spice, pounding down on the top of her head. Catches Spice on her way, but Spice fights back. Now tag out to Catalina as Mesley to her feet. Catalina quickly dropping her down. Referee has to race around. And Mesley gets the shoulder up. This match goes on. Knees driving down onto Mesley as Lillian up on the apron. Spice with Mesley on her shoulders. Drives her down face first against the knee. And straight into a shot there, but Catalina fires back. Dodging out of the way goes Mesley. Catalina up on the shoulders. Dropped down just to take a shot to the face. Here's the cover by Mesley on Catalina. And almost. It would have been quite the surprise to see the tag team champions eliminated in the quarterfinals. Catalina has a hold of Lillian, sends her to the ropes, gets her in the mid section. Turns her around, clothesline. Lillian brought back up to her feet. And nice running kick as Catalina now goes for the cover. But Mesley right there. Sent right out over the top. And Lillian fighting back. Catalina again going to take a high risk opportunity here. And this time it pays off. Cover now by Catalina. Mesley on the outside. And Lillian kicking out. Lillian brought towards the BDSM corner as long as the referee can get out of the way. And Catalina being brought towards the DOA corner. And again, the referee just does not want to get out of the way. Quick cover here by Catalina. And quick save by Mesley. And that may have been it for the Daughters of Avernus as Lillian rolls to the outside. Referee Catalina over the top rope. Collides down atop of Lillian. Lillian sent back inside as Spice taking out Mesley. And Catalina goes around, perhaps getting a few hits of her own. Catalina better be careful. We've already had one count out thus far. But we're already up to 7. And Lillian comes right out between the ropes to save her partner. Drop kick to the side of the head. As Catalina tries to race right through, Lillian doesn't work. Instead, Lillian sends her into the corner or the table, now standing moon shooting star. As back inside, Lillian looks over at Spice. The trio of shots finally takes Spice down. As Catalina in at 8. And Lillian off the top rope. Arm drag away from the corner. Here's the cover. And not enough to keep Catalina down. But the fact that the DOA can get this close. Catalina fighting herself free. And another tie-up with Lillian up on the shoulders. Wesley trying for a shot. Now tag out to Spice. Lillian stops, awaits the arrival, pulls her right in, and drives her head down to the canvas. Now the cover. And now I think that could have been it. Again, we saw Catalina who made the save. As Lillian brings Spice into the DOA corner. Tag out now to Metzley. Shoulder block from Metzley as Spice taken down. Sharp combination. And now Metzley heading up top as Spice crawls her way. Missed the tag. In comes Catalina as Metzley basically pulls a matador. Catalina in trouble right in the DOA corner. Catalina up on the shoulders and right to the knee. Here's the cover. Spice racing across the ring, making the save. And gets sent to the outside for her troubles. Wesley now ascending to the top, fighting on the outside, continues between Lillian and Spice, misses on the Mitsusaka bunny hop, and Catalina with a kick to the face. Couple of knees into the midsection as Catalina races back, or steps back, sorry. Drops Metzley across the canvas, here's the cover. And Lillian back inside and across the ring to make the save. As Catalina now mounts atop of her. Palm strikes to the forehead. And races right through Metzley. Here's the cover. But the referee, who is a bit too busy with Lillian, as Spice now sends her to the outside and goes right after her. And Catalina looks to be full of pep and vinegar. Brings Metzley around, knee into the midsection. Metzley, though, to her feet. Catalina dropped down. Here's the cover. Womyn back inside as well. Up on the shoulders. And again, driving that knee up. Spice once more breaking up the cover. And the referee down and out. Well, I mean, with everything that she's been doing, it just was a matter of time. Shooting star from Lillian. Now she brings Catalina back up. Drives the knees to the face. And Lillian just as worn out. Knowing that she's going to need to continue taking a bit of a breather here, tags out to Metzley. Catalina fighting back. Gets in a nice combination. She drops Metzley down. Haggard walk goes over and tags in Spice. That's Spice bringing Metzley up, pulls her in. Headlock and weighs her down. This could be it. But no, Metzley drops Spice right down again. German suplex as the Demon is back up again. But immediately caught out by the referee. As Catalina brings Metzley up and drives the knee to the face. Here's the cover. And again a save. This time by Lillian, who hops over the rope. Saves herself from Spice. Knee and Spice may just still be going over for her. High kick there from Catalina. And rope break caught by the referee. Lillian making the save regardless. And getting tossed to the turnbuckle for her troubles. Metzley fighting back. Short arm clothesline taking down Catalina. And here's a cover. And that is it. The Daughters of Avernus actually defeat the tag team champions in the quarterfinals. What a contest here. So the Daughters of Avernus, wow, will go up against Womyn Pow-Her in the semi-final. The tag team champions have been eliminated from the Dusty Rhodes Classic. And the underdogs, the Daughters of Avernus, advance. But they will have to take on now Amaral and Queen Amazonia. And that will not bode well for them.
The following contest is a tornado tag team match. On the way to the ring, the Acolyte.
Well, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Tornado tag team matchup. So Anya is still in the back, and from reports, she is indeed rather upset, given that in their matchup against the Bad Girls, some are actually turned away from her. Not even address her in any way. So the Bad Girls and Harem may have a history going forward. But for now, they are here in the semifinals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tournament, set to take on the Glow Girls.
And their opponents, K1 Glow!
And it looks like they did a bit of a change in the back. Glow Girls winning this one by a countout over the Booty Club, who was doing rather well against them throughout most of the matchup, in fact. Well, mentioned earlier, the Harem picking up a victory over the Bad Girls, with Emily pinning Catherine. We'll see how these two teams now fare when they'll be facing off against the other teams in open combat. No tags, no rest, no saves. There's a true war of attrition here. The winners will advance to the finals. As Katie Klein managing to take out Riley, now turning her attention to Ida. As I'm certain that Emily would love an opportunity to win this tournament, throw it onto her list of accolades as the premier vixen. Well, right now, taking care of Riley's arms, Ida in the background, sending, well, almost thought that Katie was about to go to the outside, but Riley turning things around as both Glow Girls now standing tall just momentarily. And now a slap to Emily's face. Nikki got it earlier. Nice counter there from Ida. Drives herself right through Katie as the fight on the outside continues between now Emily and Riley. Katie now wanting a piece of Riley as Emily goes back for Ida. And it's been a bit of time since we've seen Emily and Ida face off against each other. The last time was in their micro war for the Women's Championship, which Ida won by defeating Emily. The title that Emily took from her future haremette, Sasha Banks. This is hip toss there from Ida as Emily rolls out, comes back in, collides onto Ida as Katie stomps down onto Riley on the outside. Repeatedly again and again. And hip attack from Ida. Here's the cover. Katie in there to give her partner some assist, but Ida having her well scouted, just as well as Katie had her coming in for her. Running kick, and now it's Katie pinning Riley. That's a 2 count as Emily goes right to work on Riley. And the rope goes Ida. There's Emily and Riley once more fighting it out on the outside. As Katie drives the knee multiple times into Ida, and one final kick sends it to the outside. Referee left alone inside the ring. And thus far, the Harem are absolutely dominant here against the Glow Girls. At least they were until Ida started fighting back against Katie with a mini bunny hop on top of Katie's chest. And Emily, seeing that Ida was coming for her, meeting her in the middle of the ring. An immediate paradise shot knocks her straight down. And Ida manages to kick out. There's Emily getting a lot of kick to the side of the head, brings Ida up, but Ida fighting back as Riley sent to the barricade. And running knee to Emily's face. Cover now as Riley keeping Katie busy on the outside. And Emily kicking out. You're missing on that mini bunny hop. And Emily, the pair of her patented knees. Cover now as Riley sent inside the ring. I was about to say that's precisely where Riley would want to be. As the Harem now focusing in 2-on-1 assault against Riley. Ida on the outside recovering. And now Ida trying to make a save. Unfortunately, Katie having hold of her. As rolls Ida over into the middle. Here's the cover. Riley in. And Ida just gets the shoulder up. As Riley taken down. And clotheslined for good measure. Ida to her feet, but as is Katie, who catches her from behind. Moonsault onto Riley. But Ida from behind sends Emily to the corner. Now finally Ida turning her attention to Katie. Shots to the back of the head, or the front of the head, sorry. And mini bunny hop. Ida in trouble between both members of the Harem. As Riley comes in to her partner's assist. Riley against the ropes, gets it in the middle. As Emily turns her right around into a cover. But Riley with an immediate save. Kick to the back of the head just sends Riley right into it. Double underhook suplexes and DDT. As Katie now cover on Riley. And Riley now kicking out as in comes Ida. He's sent to the outside. Anita follows up. And Riley fighting back against Emily. And Mount Everett on Emily. Straight into a cover. Will this be it? No, not yet. Not for the Glow Girls. Riley in the corner, signaling for something. There are kicks from the Glow Girls to the Harem. Well, Emily fighting back against Riley. Mounts and rains down the blows. And a paradise shot onto Riley. Ida being taken down by Katie, and that is it. The Harem advanced to the finals. Emily pinning Riley inside the ring. Unfortunate turn of events for the Glow Girls. But honestly, given their showing against the Booty Club, perhaps not too surprising that they need to pick themselves back up again. And this will certainly be the wake-up call. As Katie Klein and Emily Stratfield work their way to the finals. I'm sure their goddess will be very, very happy, especially if they come out of this tournament victorious. They're just one more victory away. But Daughters of Avernus or Women Power. Here we have from the Daughters of Avernus, who scored the surprising victory over the tag team champions. Will they be able to continue on and become the 2025 Dusty Road Classic winners?
The following contest is a 4-day tag team match.
Like our last matchup, it'll be a tornado tag team match. You heard, well, the announcer making the announcement. All four competitors in the ring at the same time. And given the sort of competitors that the Daughters are set to be up against, former women's champion Amaral and Queen Amazonia, it will be a tall order, perhaps even taller than defeating BDSM. But if they can do it here, then we may see ourselves seeing a future tag team champions in Daughters of Avernus. They've done it once before. So I'm saying that they couldn't do it again. Beating the current reigning tag team champions, that is. But again, a tall order awaits them. Well, even if they are defeated here by Amaral and Amazonia, it is not as if it would be a big, huge issue. I mean, again, a defeat of the tag team champions. And what is this?
And their opponent, the Good Girl.
Oh, Roxy wearing the women's championship, but by the looks of it, is not quite as shiny as the real thing. Perhaps just like with Stan Stevens keeping the $1 million championship for himself, Roxy has gone ahead and designed up a mock title for herself. I doubt Terry Gold will be drawn into this, but at the same time, it is Roxy here, not Amazonia. As Roxy basically told Amazonia to remain in the back after winning the last matchup. We'll see how Roxy does here with Emerald. Emerald doesn't seem to be too bothered by this. So it is now against two former women's champions. And the daughters of Avernus are up to the task. Showcasing no fear. Actually pulling Lillian in for a clothesline, and Emerald rushing through Mesley with a clothesline of her own. And clotheslining over the top rope as Lillian to the outside, leaving Mesley all alone. Mesley temporarily down and out, but manages to kick her or Emerald away. Rushes or comes through. Emerald with a straight kick to the face. Hitting shots there from Mesley to Emerald, but Emerald fighting back, fight on the outside now wages on between Roxy and Lillian. Cover from Emerald, and just a 2 count. The winner of this one will go on to the finals to face off against the Harem. As Lillian gets in her back kick. Standing shooting star, but no! I believe Roxy got the knees up as Emerald collides through Mesley. Mesley in the corner takes a hit from Emerald, who sends her across the ring to the other side and spears her into the corner. Repeated hits from Emerald to Mesley, brings her up to her feet. Now sends her back to the corner. In comes Emerald, but Mesley fighting back as Lillian well on top of things with Roxy. Rebound kick from the middle rope, and now Mesley going even higher. And pays off. Cover now from Mesley. Roxy races in, makes the save, but Emerald still managing to kick out. Straight hit as Emerald drops Lillian down. Women power. Stopped from going for a victory here. Flatliner from Mesley. Roxy shaking out the cobwebs. DDT on Lillian, but Mesley doesn't allow the cover to go through. But Mesley now on her own. The crowd not too happy about this. As in comes Emerald. Unfortunately, Mesley down and out. As women power well on top of things here. And no cat's meow from Roxy to Lillian. And Roxy showcasing her power, holding Lillian up and dropping her down. As Mesley tries to do what she can against both members of Women Power. And powerbomb. But Emerald right in there. Unfortunate as she now goes for a submission hold. Wesley, though, very quickly, as Daughters of Avernus managing to turn things around slowly. And flatliner on Roxy. Emerald making the save just as Roxy gets the shoulder up. Drop kick to Lillian as Metzley takes a hit from Admiral. It looks like Women Power have chosen their target. And Metzley managing to fight against both members of Women Power. As Admiral goes for Lillian, spears her down. Side headlock takedown on Admiral. As Roxy spends her time inside, preening to the crowd. Lillian goes in to join up, and nice turnaround there from Lillian. Cover in the ring. And it sounds like a kick out. Otherwise, the bell would have sounded as Admiral fighting out of Metzley's sleeper hold. Straight into a cover. I think Metzley in a state of, well, still a bit dazed. Cover now on Admiral. Admiral kicking out. I believe that the Daughters of Avernus very well could have had something if Metzley was able to remain focused. And Admiral fighting back, taking the midsection. Packages Metzley down into a cover. And Metzley kicking out. Roxy taking out Lillian on the outside. Well, at least temporarily. Roxy sent to the steel steps. Metzley in trouble against Admiral. Tossed against the ropes. And Roxy fighting back against her. And packaged out. Uppercut Lillian. And unfortunately, because Lillian took a long route around the ring, Admiral was able to pin Metzley. So it'll be Women Power and the Harem in the main event of the 2025 Dusty Rhodes Classic. But does this mean that Roxy will allow Amazonia back into the ring, or will she just continue on? We'll find out soon, ladies and gentlemen, as the finals are right around the corner. There you see it, ladies and gentlemen, the cell above the ring to signify the finals of the 2025 Dusty Road Classic.
Hell in a Cell match. And the Acolytes.
So the Harem are coming down to the ring once more without Anya, but I'm certain that Anya just doesn't want to be involved in such a matchup. Thus far, the Harem have defeated the Bad Girls as well as the Glow Girls. And they'll be taking on the team of Women Power, who were victorious against Squeakums and Abba, and just recently, Daughters of Avernus. Well, of course, it was twice that the Daughters screwed themselves over. If Metzley had been able to stop Emerald from breaking up the cover, and if Lillian had not taken a short or longer route, well, it looks like Roxy is indeed coming in for the finals alongside Emerald. Long-time rivals, it's interesting to see these two acting in such a manner, holding hands on their way to the ring, but we've made it clear that Emerald has well accepted the feminist lifestyle. And we do have word from Terry Gold that Roxy is told that she can have her fun with her fake title. It'll just be a reminder that Terry Gold is in the end better than her. But if the Women Power team can come away victorious here tonight, well, that's definitely a feather in the cap for them. But of course, the Harem's goddess Anya would want a victory for her team. As here we go, Roxy and Emily, while Katie and Emerald fighting it out. And thus far, Women Power in control here. It's hard to know when you have a double matchup going into the finals whether or not you have the advantage or not, but whether you're worn out or warmed up. And as Katie dropped down, Emerald turning her attention now to Emily. Katie clubbed down. Emerald turning back towards Emily. Takes her down to the backdrop. There's Emerald alone, but managing to do her thing. As Katie, or Emily, sorry, mounts on top of her. Roxy coming into Katie from behind. Drops her face first to the canvas. And now all four competitors outside the ring. Will the fight go outside the cage? Roxy with the European uppercut on Emily, knocks her back against the steps. And Emerald going out to join the fight. Not a lot of room for all four competitors to go at it. It's just clear that Emerald wants to get back into things. Manages to do so, catching hold of Emily as Roxy was going on with Katie. Interesting to know what Roxy thinks about the Harem. It is all about a faction worshipping a woman. Oh, that is if Anya even identifies as a woman. She should identify more so as an ethereal being. As Emily bringing in a table. Or sorry, Roxy. As well as a steel chair. The Harem turning things around. on the former women's champions. Uppercut on Roxy as Emerald tossed away. And Emerald tossed away again as Katie manages to stop herself, hopping over the steel steps back into the ring. Roxy catching her from behind into the ropes and onto the table as Roxy goes for the cover. Only a 1 count. There's Jawbreaker on Emerald. And face first again, down onto the table. No protection there for Katie. Back of the head now hitting the rim of the table. Roxy really doing some damage here. Just narrowly missing the table there. As Katie gets to her feet, drop to a knee, and cat's meow on Katie Klein. Here's the cover. And Katie managing to kick out as Amaral and Emily continue the fight on the outside. Roxy gonna... Nope, I was about to say, was Roxy gonna go join her, but instead keep it to the inside. Katie managing to fight back against Roxy. Drops her down. Steel chair in hand, but doesn't want it. I don't think Katie wants to win it this way. As Roxy giving her chance to breathe. And Katie now turning her attention to Amaral, but Amaral kicking her away. Sends Katie back over the steel steps. Now Roxy being tossed towards her own partner. And down goes Rockwell. Roxy keeping herself vertical. European uppercut on Katie. Again, Emily and Amaral wanting at each other. And Emily managing to squeeze in beside Katie to get in there for Roxy. Stiff hit from Roxy. European uppercut as well. And Emily chipping back over the steel steps. Roxy giving chase. And now it's back to Roxy and Katie. High kick there to Roxy. As Roxy, unfortunately, having to deal with both Emily and Katie at times. Emerald unable to get through them. As I said, not a lot of space by the ring. Emily and Katie trading blows. European uppercut after European uppercut, but Katie fighting back. Comes around to a stiff shot. And Emerald and Emily getting in a shot of their own. And now Emily finally getting a hold of Roxy as Emerald finally getting to Katie. And this thing really picking up here. As Emily and Emerald pick up where they left off. Back to the steel steps. And what does Katie have in mind here? Either a baseball bat or a kendo stick as Roxy heads back inside. And there's the sledgehammer from Katie. Kick to the back of Emerald's head as Katie and Roxy perhaps. Indeed, Roxy reminding Katie that she is in this matchup too. Catching Katie and giving her a straight fist. Tossed against the side of the cell as Emerald inside the ring. And oh, Roxy taken to the outside by Katie. And I was wondering if they were going to be fighting on the outside, and there you have it. Roxy broken through, and well, everyone follows up as Emerald and Katie now. Both competitors making their way to the top. Roxy and Emily keeping to the bottom. Drop kick on, or attempted on Katie as Emily Emily coming up top now. Roxy laid out. And Katie with the world's tallest twerk. And Roxy going to join up. All four competitors now up on the top of this cell. And Paradise shot on Roxy. And Emily teetering close. And tossed off the top. Katie left on her own. How long can she manage against women power? Especially when her head hits the metal beam. Sidewalk slam onto Katie. Courtesy of Emerald tossing her towards her. DDT on Katie as Emily now up on top. Emerald climbing down, leaving Roxy all alone, but coming up as well. And despite being tossed from the top, Emily really wanting to prove herself to her goddess. She is the in-ring representative after all, named by her goddess. And Emily perhaps. And it's Roxy's turn to go flying. As Emerald has been left alone, both members of the harem just surrounding her. Emily with a nice combination onto Emerald. And now Katie coming down. Gonna go and continue things up with Roxy. Let's steadily. And rocks Emily! Straight through the cell! As down comes Emerald. And that is it! Women Power are victorious, but, well, Roxy about to not feel like a winner. But there you have it, surprising victory here. Women Power are the 2025 Dusty Road Classic winners. Following a packaged bomb from Emerald onto Emily. We'll certainly give the Women Power assist to Amazonia, who allowed them to get past the bad girls. Could they have done so with Roxy and Emerald, that combination? We may find out in the future, ladies and gentlemen, but for now, thank you for tuning in to 2025 with What's Up Wrestling. We can't wait to show you what we have in store for you in 2026.